my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to attempt to replicate a door pull that a client sent to us. I saw the photos and I immediately realized, well, this is going to be 1960s, would be my best guess in terms of a vintage. Okay, so we're going down and picking up that 7-flute tool. Then we're going to fire this file up and we're going to see what happens. I have no idea why we're doing what we're doing. I'm just going to re-zero to the top of the material is what I'm going to do. Let's re-zero. C2. I have a feeling we might need to do a C3. We're going to do a C3 then a C2. What happened was ShopBot thought that tool 0 was in the spindle. I manually put tool 3 in there and then C2'd it to the top of the material. After I C3'd, that was no good. So I put tool 3 back. I'm going to C3. I'm going to reset everything with 0 tool, with 0 tool values. I'm doing a C3 right now. Now I'm going to do a C1. I'm going to pick up tool 3. Then I'm going to C2 at the material surface. Tape put around the perimeter of the workpiece to help the vacuums hold it down. Now we're going to go home, we're going to load that part file, we're going to see what happens. Let's pause that, but that 7-flute looks nice. That is what I recall. Let's restart that. Let's get our dust boot on, let's restart that. dust boot's a little high, so we're losing a lot of the dust collector and its ability to pull it up. Small step over, but it's just experimentation at this point.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
Okay, let's take a look and see where we are. It's a new day, and we've run this surfacing routine a number of times. And, you know, it's not that the material is necessarily not uniform in thickness, it's just not flat. And that makes sense because of everything that I've been seeing in terms of the hand wheel project that I did, which is here on this cart. You know, in the center of the, 7-foot long, 44-inch wide piece of 1/2-inch aluminum, it was quite frustrating because I wasn't getting consistent penetration through the workpiece. My tab heights, as a result, my tab heights were not consistent, and it's because it was crowned, is the bottom line. And that's got everything to do with the material itself, but I think it also has to do with the stresses that are introduced into the workpiece as you're cutting it. I've learned that aluminum will absolutely, it can be, it will retreat when you're forcing it with a lot of energy, and it will be marginally elastic. Elastic's not the right word, but it'll move over a little bit. It'll move over a little bit. You've got to positively go through the material to be able to actually cut through it. And that's really the term, I think, for me, is cut through it. To cut through it, you have to cut through it. You can't just go up to the threshold of the material thickness. You'll leave an onion skin with the material, there's no doubt, unless you're going through it. The problem is the outer pieces of those hand wheels, the outer perimeter where it was not crowned. You know, I could set a tab height that would work really well, but when it got to the center, my tabs were smaller, and that was a bit unnerving. I don't like to break end mills. So I'm going to move the gantry away from our workpiece, and we'll take a little bit closer look at it. So let me just M2 90,24. Take a look at our piece. So I've surfaced this several times, and I think we're down about 40 thousandths of an inch. And I'm gonna not surface it anymore. You can see right here at this edge, we didn't get the surface touched, but we're so close to it that I'm not going any further. It's a very nice flat edge. There's a small amount of texture that I can feel on it. I did learn that a step over of 90-some% wasn't giving me a nice result in terms of how much the bit was moving over every single time. I didn't like the boundary, the barriers between the material. I found that a step over of about 75% gave me a pretty good quality finish on the top. And that's it. Now, a lot of what you're seeing here is the different step overs that we've done, which is the way that the light is reflecting differently. But at this point, we're done. I'm not going to be taking this down anymore. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull this piece off. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to flip this over, put it back where it was, and we're going to measure it and see how it's looking, because I need to know how much more I feel like I can take, because I really want to be at 1 inch. I've already taken off 40 thousandths, so I'm probably already right at 1 inch. So I may not be doing much to the top side of this at all, because I don't want the mounting brackets to be demonstrably less than 1 inch. I mean, if they're 97 thousandths, it's no problem. But we're shooting for 1 inch. So what I'll do is I'll put the camera down and I'll just work on flipping this over, is what I'll do.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
While we're doing this, I'd also like to share with you a thought that I had. Believe it or not, I feel as if the vacuum pumps running actually changed the amount of crown on the workpiece. I really believe that they did, because the first time I surfaced it, I had a step over of a tiny amount, like 2%. So it took hours to do that first surfacing. By the time it went to 0.005 was the first step. It took hours to run that with the vacuums pulling on that item, pulling on that aluminum. When it got to do its second pass, it was no longer making contact at the beginning of that tool path. So something happened. Obviously, vacuum pumps deflecting 1-inch thick aluminum is probably unrealistic, but something occurred. Get a caliper on this and see what we're measuring. Okay, yeah, we're good. 1.033 down in this outside area. Over here, 1.03. And obviously the idea is I'm going to want to bring it down to 1 inch, or at least understand really what it is. I'm going to turn the piece around and measure it on the other corners. 1.03, 1.027. So we're not going to be able to take as much off of the other side as we did on the top side, but hopefully we're going to be able to make contact with the end mill early in our second surfacing run. So let's flip this over.
Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.